We think that a lot of the stories you might be hearing about the mark of the beast is going to be this tattoo that goes on from this Microsoft microneedle. We think that might be a bit of a distraction to make people believe that it's not quite happening yet, because it's already happening. It's in this vaccine.
Hey friends, welcome back. This is part 2 of my interview with Hope and Tavon. Please spread this information far and wide. Before we start, just a quick word about our sponsor. I want to show you guys something. Bitcoin was up 16% in just the past couple of days. And yes, it's a very volatile space, but people are making a lot of money. And I want you to know there's a way your capital gains can go tax-free legally, and you can do it through My Digital Money. With My Digital Money, you can buy and sell cryptocurrencies through a crypto IRA and not pay any taxes. And we all know how big the gains could be. Last year, Ethereum gained 450%. With a My Digital Money crypto IRA account, you don't have to pay taxes on any of that. And here's the best part. My Digital Money is giving away $50 to new cash accounts. Just use the code MDM50. Go to mydigitalmoney.com and open your account now to get your free $50. mydigitalmoney.com.
Now, we want to put out this important disclosure statement before we get to our next slides here, which we think is the real bombshell at this point in time, because these slides just came out. This stuff just came out recently, and it's the most shocking images we've seen to date. So we want to make sure that the average person, what they may not know is that the research required to find these substances in the COVID injections is not easy, and it involves great risk. Scientists have been threatened and censored in order to bring you these images. The following are the most recent findings by a team of scientists in New Zealand showing nanotechnology in the Phizer shots. It is to date the most alarming photos we have seen. Within 24 hours, the website and videos have been censored off the internet. Luckily, an archive was created before they took it down, which is how we got these photos. So here is what they're saying is undeclared nanotech found in Phizer shots by New Zealand scientists. Shapes and objects were found in the Phizer shots after exposure to heat and time and EMF. These shapes self-assembled into microchip circuit boards.
Mm-hmm. And what you see here are basic, like they started from, and when you look at the report, and we're going to have a link.
Yeah, it's all in the research notes on how
it starts
they did
from very small basic shapes of rectangles, squares, and circles floating within this sample, and then over time, the doctor, the scientist that had these samples exposed. He actually put them in the car with him when he had to travel between 2 different sites.
Yeah, so some heat happened.
New Zealand was warm, it's hot at the time.
Right, and also EMF was around, so EMF waves were being beamed into the slides as well.
So he left them in the car, then he came back and put them back under the microscope, and he saw the samples start to form these more complex structures.
It was very, very startling.
So what you see is literally the most rudimentary building blocks on the left turn into something like what you see on the right here, which I don't even know what or in the 2 below as well. These complicated structures grew or were grown by these smaller building blocks coming together and forming this network. And with the scale you're looking at, it's like I ask myself, what kind of frequencies would interact at that scale? You're not just talking about microwaves anymore. You're talking about terahertz frequencies. You're talking about things that interact with light, both electromagnetism and light. And
Ricardo Delgado from La Quinta Columna did mention that it's the graphene oxide in the shots that is necessary to convert those frequencies from one frequency
into higher frequencies
to the higher frequency needed to form these self-assembling microchips that hold all these functions to control human beings and monitor and track and trace you.
I mean, I don't know what I'm looking at. Am I looking at a bunch of waveguides? Am I looking at something that's that and a microchip? It's like, what are we looking at here?
And the next slide is from the same experiment And what is different here with these pictures, these images show that the vaccine was mixed with human blood. So when the vaccine meets up with human blood, the white blood cells were annihilated and the red blood cells are heavily damaged. These images are like something out of a sci-fi movie. I mean,
by the way, these last two slides that we're showing you, all these images are taken in a dark field microscope method. That's why the background is dark, and they're probably shining some the things that shine in UV or what have you.
Yeah, it allows you to see.
It allows you to see more clearly.
So these are the latest images that have been found in vaccines. We want to talk about the vaccinated humans are now emitting Bluetooth codes. So there's this phenomenon going on the internet right now. You can look up Bluetooth challenge videos. Normally, Bluetooth devices have a name on them. So if you go to your phone and you turn on your phone and you see like somebody's car Bluetooth or something, or
you can tell,
phone.
You can pretty much tell what it is.
But what's happening is that now when you go into a crowded room full of vaccinated people, all these anonymous Bluetooth addresses start showing up on your phone, or they're anonymous MAC addresses, or a lot of them. So there's these Bluetooth videos that are popping up everywhere, and I put a whole bunch of them in the notes so you can see for yourself, people going on airplanes, and basically everybody's emitting a signal.
Everyone who's taken an injection.
Yeah, and so here's an interesting experiment that was done in France. So a French research team stopped random volunteers in a park. They separated them into groups of vaccinated and non-vaccinated. Then they were tested with their laptops Bluetooth, and the vaccinated were registering an unnamed MAC address as each were called near from the field. So there's a lot more videos on this if you want to check that out for yourselves. And yeah, we're going to start.
Tavon, let me ask you a question. What does that mean in terms of a MAC address? Does that mean Apple is part of this conspiracy?
No. The MAC is just a machine address code. It's all electronic hardware, consumer products that you buy, especially ones that have some kind of wireless or internet capability, or even things like speakers. They have a MAC address so that they're identifiable wirelessly. It's a unique address only to that device that you bought. Okay. So it's just it's a hexadecimal number. It has like letters and numbers behind it, and those string of letters and numbers identify that particular piece of hardware. And so you have billions of these all over the world, but that's only for electronic machines. So when people start emitting MAC addresses wirelessly, that on your cell phone you can like hit the pairing on your cell phone. What's going on there? How is it that this assembly of whatever is in their body is actually forming a string of letters and numbers that's a MAC address that's picked up wirelessly? And that's what people are saying.
So each vaccinated person is disseminating a separate, unique address.
Yes. As if they are like a laptop or some other electronic device that you'd buy from a store.
They're emitting a code.
So they are part of the Internet of Things. That is what this is.
That is what this is.
They are now the wearable tech we talked about in a couple of shows ago is something that's in them.
So we think that a lot of the stories you might be hearing about the mark of the beast is going to be this tattoo that goes on from this Microsoft microneedle. We think that might be a bit of a distraction to make people believe that it's not quite happening yet, because it's already happening. It's in this vaccine. Yes. They're emitting codes that you can't buy or sell. You cannot buy or sell. We're getting towards that time. So we think they're already doing it. We're seeing evidence that it's already being done in human beings. With that, we're tying in another component of these vaccines, and that's about gene editing and DNA collection, because that's another reason why they're rolling out the vaccine program. This is Hydra vulgaris, and this was found in the vaccine. I think the first time we saw this was Dr. Carrie Madej did something with Stu Peters to expose this, and then she did some more shows showing this as well. What Hydra vulgaris is it's an actual organism that's in fresh water. But what these are that are in the vaccines, they're genetically modified Hydra vulgaris organisms. They've been found in the vaccines by Dr. Carrie Madej and Dr. Frank Zaleski. It was also found that dormant Hydra eggs contained in the vaccine become active, grow, and multiply when exposed to graphite tape or graphene and heat. Graphene oxide acts as miracle grow. This is from a study, one of the studies showing the research done using hydras in the mRNA vaccines. So you can go look at that study to see what we're talking about. This is what this all means. Hydra equals losing our humanity. And I'm just going to put a quote up here. This is what God's order is. God makes things according to its kind. God made the beasts of the earth after their kind, and the cattle after their kind, and everything that creeps on the ground after its kind. And God saw that it was good. But what these vaccine manufacturers are trying to do is make their own new species and change and edit our DNA. So this comes from the research of Dr. Ariana Love from Finland. And I just kind of paraphrased a bunch of it. Hydra vulgaris is a freshwater organism that has been genetically modified that's being used in the vaccines to carry a variety of programmed synthetic gene sequences and messenger RNA and merge this with human DNA. This process is called transfection. It is essentially the rewiring and control of the ancestral circuitry of human beings. In other words, the way God made human beings, they're rewiring all of that. So these genetically modified hydras have been produced in a lab at the University of Kiev. They have been modified in many different ways to produce almost 200 different lines of hydras. Some of the hydra genes have been merged with different toxic bacteria and luciferase, and CRISPR-Cas9 technology is what they're using with these hydras to recode your DNA. Now, on the hydra note here, I just wanted to put out some hydra predictive programming because this is if you go to this college website, this is the biology department of this college, and they have a whole section talking about hydras being used in their work. And on this one thing called the playing card, they have the hydras, and then at the bottom of it, it says, "Hail Hydra," talking about unique abilities that the hydra has. But well, Hail Hydra comes from the Marvel comics and the movies. So that's why we've got this predictive programming here. And so what is Hydra? Hydra from Marvel Comics.
Right. So this particular was taken out of the Winter Soldier movie, the evil Nazi group that used injections to reprogram humans, and it also had its main mad scientist brain connected to a super AI, or he became the AI. So as always, they tell you what they're going to do. I thought that was very interesting. Some more of the technology that's been found in the vaccines recently are these fascinating. They're called microbubbles. We now know what they are. They're bubbles of graphene oxide found in COVID vaccines. There's actually a video of these moving, and you can see they kind of like lock and move together. You have these little connectors between them. So they're like these little machines. They were found by Dr. Sandra Botha from South Africa while she was viewing one drop of COVID vaccine through a microscope. I think it was, I'm not sure which one she was looking at. It might have been Phizer or Moderna. But what we do know about them is that they're microbeads, microspheres, microbubbles. They're also listed as an active ingredient in the Phizer patent and in the Moderna patent. They're made from graphene oxide. They are coated with gold nanoparticles and are used for scaffolding new DNA-based tissues inside the human body. They interlink by electrodes and can self-replicate via electrical pulses. They are used to deliver drugs or a payload over a period of time, which can be over days, weeks, months, or years, as the Moderna patent specifies. And we put that clip right here where it says that in the Moderna patent. So people thinking, I got the shot, I'm fine, it's been a couple months. At what point is that
micro bubble going to release its payload into you. It could be years after you got the shot. So according to the Moderna patent, that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
You guys, let's just take a second to process this because, I've tried to pipe down throughout this presentation because I'm familiar with a lot of this stuff and I want you guys to really take us through it for the audience so everybody can really grasp what's going on here. Here's my question. How in the world did they think they were going to get away with this? What you're taking us through is so pits of hell, diabolical, anti-human, and now it's all coming out. Even though the mainstream media will not share the truth and they're in on it, I do ask the question, how do they think they're going to get away with this?
I think, well,
you go first.
Okay. Well, I believe that it's literally brute force. They went the brute force method, straight up coercion, buy out as many people as you can, change as many laws as you can, because that's the direction they've been going.
I also think that there's, this is just my own personal theory. I think that they have some kind of quota of how many people they want to get vaccinated because of the way these vaccines work, which is they pass from generation to generation. So if you get vaccinated, that's also changing the DNA of your eggs. So any children that you might have, if you can still have children, those kids are going to have those genetic traits. So they have a quota of how many people in the population they need to get these injections into in order to make the kind of change that they want. And I think that they're like reaching that quota because it feels like they're rolling back a little bit as far as the mandates aren't working out in a lot of places. There's a lot of pushback and they seem to be lifting some restrictions. So I think it's a combination of both brute force. And I don't know if they thought they were going to get away with it because, well, they just did it and you can't unedit your genes once they've been sliced and diced like this. So
right. Well, they've declared war. They've declared war on humanity. So that's what we're talking about here. And one more aside, have you seen any of the video of these black-eyed babies and these toddlers that are performing, climbing up and down refrigerators as babies?
Oh my goodness.
Yes. This is
the video. I know the videos we've seen.
What can you say? I mean, and even then, it's like there's things I like to say, but I can't because I'm thinking about the parents of those of those kids.
And well, have you seen the videos of what they're pulling out of autopsies?
Yes,
they're pulling these things out of people's bodies, and as grotesque as it is, it's like. It's hard to think about. Like the coroner said, he was one of the embalmers, and he said, I don't want to tell the family members what it is that I'm pulling out of their relative's body, because in many cases, it's like a husband and wife, and they both got the same injection. So he's basically telling the spouse, this is what's going to happen to you next. It's only
what? I empathize with that because I have a friend at the gym where I work out who took both doses of Pfizer. He gave me his vaccine ID card with the vial numbers on it so that I could research for him if maybe he got a placebo or one of the more dangerous vials. And he got one of the more dangerous vials and I didn't have the heart to tell him. I just, what can you do? We can't help these people. And that's what we're trying to do right now. We're trying to help people who have not succumbed to this evil. And we're trying to wake people up. And as it pertains to those babies that are doing things that babies ought not be doing and holding their heads up at day 8 and walking at 3 months. I said to my wife, because one of our vaccine damaged sons had extreme ADHD throughout childhood. And he was more than a handful, trust me. And I said to my wife, what these parents are in for with these kids, with these babies that are climbing up and down refrigerators at 8 months, at a year old, I can't imagine. But this is transhumanism. That's what it is.
Yeah. But, there are things I want to make sure that everybody doesn't think that it's all a lost hope, because there are many things that you can do. Even if you have been vaccinated, it's not a completely lost hope. If you're in a position where you're willing to take on the information, because that's the hardest part. People don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about what's in those shots. Yes. I got the vaccine. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. That's what we get from a lot of people that we know, love, and care about. Yeah. When we try to tell them, like, do you know what they just found in that stuff? And that's the reason why your relative is sick. So, there are things that can be done, and we're going to talk about those in a little bit. So we want people to have some hope, because there are people who have gotten the shots who are having luck with trying to, yes, detox some of it out of their bodies. You can detox some of it out of your body. And there's other things that you can do to try to mitigate the effects of what's going on here. If it gets down to the actual gene editing, we don't know. We just don't know at that level. But there are some things that you can do. So it is not a complete lost cause.
All right. Well, I know you have 12 or 13 slides left, so hopefully we can end on some good news for folks.
Absolutely. So just still talking about the gene editing technology, we just wanted to pull this out that the big breakthrough, because gene editing technology has been around for a long time, but they were never actually able to successfully complete it through to a couple of generations until they had their big breakthrough moment, which is just months before anybody heard about anything going on in Wuhan, China. So it was discovered for the first time, they were able to get the technology to pass down genetic traits from mice to their offspring and their offspring's offspring. And that's from this article here from the UC San Diego researchers, first to use CRISPR-Cas9 to control genetic inheritance. So now that their CRISPR-Cas9 platform was ready, their Frankenstein creation was all ready, all they needed was a way to get this technology injected into every human on the planet. So enter the COVID pandemic and the COVID injections. So we think that all of that lines up. Now we're talking about DNA collection. This is from one of our older shows, gosh, almost 2 years ago at this point, where we were talking about Operation Warp Speed Exposed. This is the vaccine czar, Moncef Slaoui. He was the one that was stating that they're going to be putting an incredibly precise pharmacovigilance surveillance system into every American who receives the Warp Speed vaccine, and that Google and Oracle have been awarded the defense contract to track and trace Americans who received the vaccine.
Right.
Again, just as a reminder, these are the big tech got the defense contract to collect DNA and track and trace every American who gets the COVID vaccine. This is the head of Alphabet or Google, who used to be married to Ann Wojcicki, the sister of Susan Wojcicki. And Ann Wojcicki ran a company called 23andMe, which was DNA collection, all about DNA collection. And so now we've got this breaking story, Sean. I don't know if you've heard of this yet, but this one company got busted. Signpost. They were caught selling at least 3 million DNA samples from the COVID PCR test swabs to third parties. So the real purpose of the PCR test is to collect your DNA. This DNA is used by third parties that are undisclosed. The DNA is then analyzed to collect data on humans and see results of gene editing from the CRISPR technology deployed in the injections. And just as a side note, and we'll have to go here in another show maybe, or it's a whole other thing, but all of this data from everybody's DNA that's being collected by all those PCR test swabs they're forcing you to take, all of that data is being run through the state of Israel. So we'll just park that right there, and you can think about what that probably means.
Oh, God.
And we don't say things like that without having stuff to back that up. So again, everything's in the notes. Go check it out for yourself, and you'll see that what we're saying is true. So we're getting into trying to understand how people are getting sick. Like if you've gotten sick or you've gotten the flu, why am I sick? Shedding, transmission, and protection. So expect flu-like symptoms from EMF pollution and shedding from vaccinated individuals. So the sets of symptoms branded as COVID are fever, headache, loss of taste and smell, achy joints, extremely fatigued, plus the other things that we showed you about EMF poisoning in the past slides, right? So we know that vaccinated people are getting sick because of the poison that's in the vials. Yeah. But how are unvaccinated people getting sick, and what are they coming down with if there is no virus?
So we're looking at two different things here. We have the EMF pollution and radiation sickness. More 5G radiating the public. Generally on the planet, we have an increase of electromagnetic radiation. These fields also go up and they bounce around, and the whole planet is radiating in these fields. Also, you have more satellite networks that have been launched in the past couple of years as well. So even if you're in a country that doesn't have the 5G, you have to look at to see what kind of satellite traffic is going on above you as well. That also increases the background radiation. And the second wave, the shedding or transmission from the vax, this is with one of our earlier presentations where we talked about studies and reports showing how that there's something, there's something that's being spread from vax to unvaxxed. Billions of people are vaccinated with nanotech that emit a signal that are adding to the radiation in the atmosphere. And as we now know, that study in combination with what we were talking about in the previous show, that was before the Bluetooth challenge.
Yeah.
But now we know for sure that signals indeed are being emitted from people who have been injected.
So like vaccinated people are the new cell towers that are emitting radiation around you. There's a couple of studies too to back this up. Vaccinated people making the unvaccinated sick. So we covered shedding and transmission, as we said in our last shows, in depth, but we believe that the sickness is being transmitted from the vaccinated to the unvaccinated on an energetic level. And we talked all about that via the morphogenic field. Mm-hmm. So be sure to check that out. As a reminder, we showed examples of how this works in our main presentation. And so we would just want to add to that there's this documentation that shows that the knowledge and intent of the vaccine manufacturers was to promote the shedding of vaccination symptoms to the unvaccinated by the vaccinated. So this is from Johns Hopkins. It's self-spreading vaccines, also called self-disseminating vaccines. Dr. Lee Merritt talked about that as well. Mm-hmm. So they know that vaccinated people are going to spread sickness or symptoms to unvaccinated people. They're spreading something to unvaccinated people. And also in the Pfizer documents, they admit that the experimental mRNA trial subjects are super spreaders who transmit disease to the unvaxxed. During Pfizer's clinical trials, it's cleverly termed occupational exposure. And this is an excellent interview with Karen Kingston on Greg Hunter talking all about that. And she goes through where the Pfizer patents say that. So let's talk about, there's two ways to protect yourself. The first one is to clean your environment, and the next one is to boost your immune system. So first, we're going to talk about cleaning your environment from the toxic EMF and radiation around you. Okay, so since the transmission of sickness is happening through the morphogenic field, there are things you can do to clean the morphogenic field or to change and clean up the energy. Now, our orgone products are based on scientific data that shows a unique way in which they work. Now, we use all kinds of minerals, shungite, iron oxide, steel, quartz, and brass powders to mix into an epoxy resin, a composite. Now, this process, when it's cured, it creates a piezoelectric effect, which passively pulses out the energy effects of these blended ingredients, creating a field called orgone energy. Now, just shungite alone is used to clean up the EMF and nuclear radiation in Russia. And the blend of all of these ingredients is what creates this orgone energy field that gently pulses out from the formed object. Now, the end result is a harmonizer that is able to transform harmful wireless fields from cell towers, your smart meters, smartphones, internet router, and your television into more beneficial energy for you, your plants, and your pets. And this is how you can measure the effects of these products is through like blood cells. Blood samples are preserved for longer periods of time. That's why you feel so much better. It's like a fountain of youth for your blood. Orgone is used for pain relief. It really helps with that. The energy can also preserve fruits and vegetables for longer periods of time. There's better seed germination if you're growing plants and seeds, and also bigger yields in plants as well. You get a better night's sleep. It helps with as a sleep aid, and you can actually see the energy field form in frozen ice. So this is just some of the scientific documentation that we have on our website that shows how our products work and how you could measure them.
Can you guys zoom in? Can you guys zoom in on that orgone ice test? I just want people to understand this isn't woo-woo. This is actual science. These energy fields really do exist.
In fact, Sean, so
right here, see that?
I mean, that image is a bit low res, but the before on the right is the control frozen ice without the pendant at the bottom. And on the left is where you had the pendant that was frozen at the bottom of the glass.
Yeah, an orgone pendant.
Now, this is a transparent test, but most recently on our website, especially in our pendant products, I have a new video repeating the test at a much higher resolution and we put blue food coloring dye.
Which really shows the fields.
Shows the field, shows the elongated air bubbles creating that three-dimensional star pattern.
Yeah.
Okay. Hope, are you wearing an orgone pendant right now? Is that what that is?
Yes, I am. And we have a few things we can just throw in front of the camera here real quick.
Can you just describe what that pendant is doing for you as you wear it? Or Tavon, help us understand the science.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So what's the wearables, when you put the pendant on, basically you're increasing the surface area across your body. These fields that we're talking about, your body recognizes these wireless fields. And it's almost like if you try to go to sleep, you can't sleep because you have the router on or you have your phone right next to your bed. Your brain picks up these fields and it's as if someone shone a light onto your brain. So you can't sleep where you have a restless sleep. So by having the pendant on, these signals that would normally travel through your skin or across your skin gets absorbed. A lot of these fields get absorbed by the pendant. So your body actually feels the change and it relaxes. Yeah,
it's relaxing and it transforms the energy around you through that effect that he was just talking about. The way I feel is I feel calmer. I don't feel like irritated and agitated because before we had these products, I used to feel like twitchy and irritable and angry, and I would have headaches, and because I was very, very sensitive to electric pollution around me and all of that. So I started using the pendants. We started using different products. I had Tavon design a sleeping pod for me because I used to have insomnia for a long time, and this completely took care of my insomnia. I just have it next to me in the bed, and that helps. And the other products as well that we've created for different types of effects and reactions. It's the same composite. It's the same item, the same thing, but just made into different shapes for different things, like the cell phone phone shields. So you could just stick them on the back of your cell phone. Or the back of your laptop.
Yeah, or in the back of your laptop.
Or on your router, things like that. And also the pyramids, you can use these to grid your house and your property so that you can create that field in your environment around you. Because the reason why there's a point through the pyramid is to focus all the energy through the tip. And we've got some scientific studies, the GOLAD pyramid studies that show how that works. The shape and the geometry actually does something to point that energy in a certain direction, and it can really cover a large area like your entire home, your entire property. It's also shown to help to disperse chemtrails above your house as well and help those chemtrails to break up so you don't have to deal with all the stuff that they're spraying on you. So it helps to clean the environment around you.
Well, I mean, I know it all sounds a little bit new agey, but there is science to it. And you mentioned, Tavon, that in Russia, they were using shungite to help clean up nuclear, what was it?
They're using shungite for all kinds of things from EMF, change in EMF fields, because they found shungite is a triple fullerene, has fullerene within fullerene within fullerene. Also, it changes the EMF, electromagnetic field structure going through. Also, nuclear radiation cleanup.
Yeah.
And also to filter contaminated water as well.
Well, and some of the science is on your website, right? People can learn more. at your
Yeah,
website?
we've got a lot of documentation.
Yeah.
And we just encourage people to go check it out and just watch some of the videos and try to get an understanding as to how it works. I know you said it's a little new agey. We do not ascribe these products to any alien beings or anything along those lines. We are Christians and we look at the science, and this is our particular path that we believe God has given us to make this technology that will help people to feel better, especially when we're being attacked by these electromagnetic frequencies everywhere.
So all the attack, if it's microscopic or it's invisible, it's all dealing with the invisible.
Yeah, absolutely. So we showed you some of the products that we have here. And again, we have a link for Sean at the SGT report that hopefully you'll put at the bottom of this video, wherever you want to put it, Sean, and that when you purchase from us, that Sean gets a commission. So that helps to support SGT report so he can keep bringing you this amazing information. We wanted to show you quickly about the immune system. That's the second way that you can protect yourself, is to strengthen your immune system. And we have some very alarming, amazing findings here.
They're very fascinating.
On the left is a fractal graphene nano antenna that was described in that report by La Quinta Columna, made out of graphene, and it's what they're using to receive signals. We covered the nano antennas in our book as well, which is amazing. And then over here is a study done by the Slovak Republic team.
Okay, so they've done the study done on nanotech it found in COVID test swabs. So the analysis of test sticks from surface testing in the Slovak Republic, confirmation of genocide.
That's the name of the study.
That's the name of the study. So what we're looking at in the figure here is a DARPA hydrogel crystals. And to this was added human saliva.
On the next slide, we'll show.
Okay, so what you're looking at, Sean, are these fractal crystals that are the result of combining the DARPA hydrogel to human saliva. It forms these fractal crystals, okay?
The fractal crystals already exist. When you add human saliva that is from somebody who has immune system antibodies, they say somebody who got over COVID, this is what it does. It breaks up the structures of those fractal antennas. So on this slide on the left here, figure 18, you see where they added human saliva to the structures and it broke up those structures, those antennas. And then over here on slide figure 19, they added ivermectin to the right side of these structures. And not only did they eradicate the structures, but they made them disappear altogether.
So basically these fractal structures were formed from having these hydrogels in your body.
So what we're trying to say here is that if your immune system treatments is what is being shown to eradicate the nanotechnology that is found in the COVID shots. And with that said, we've just got a couple more slides talking about immune system treatments. I wanted to make sure you guys knew about my mom here. This is Valerie Robitaille. She's been putting together and working with a lot of people these graphene oxide removal protocols and different protocols that were inspired by the brave doctors and scientists all around the world. So you can go ahead and check out her holistichealthonline.info website to learn more about things that you can do to boost your immune system and fight back with the onslaught that we've got. She's also my mom, and she's also a member of our team making the products with us so we can get them shipped out to everybody all around the world. And our last slide is just showing you that you can find all those notes on our blog post for this presentation. And this is a list of all of the topics that we've covered in the previous shows that we've done here. So you can go and look into those more to have a better education as to what's going on. And that's it for this time, Sean. Thank you so much for
thank you, Sean,
letting us get all that information out to the people that need to know.
Well, it's my pleasure. And I guess I have one question. That second to last slide or third to last slide, ivermectin, are you guys suggesting that for folks who have been vaccinated, folks who have taken the mRNA gene therapy, that it may not be a bad idea? Again, this isn't medical advice. I'm just asking the question. We're all novices. We're not doctors, but are you suggesting that folks who have been vaccinated might benefit from ivermectin treatment?
I'll go ahead and say yes.
Yeah, I think they should definitely do their research in using it.
We wanted to just show people that ivermectin can break down the nanostructures that is in your body from the shots. So no, we're not doctors either, but we do actually know of people personally who have been double vaccinated. Yes. And they have remorse from getting vaccinated and they got very sick from it. And they are taking ivermectin now as a way to try to recover their immune system and break down the nanotechnology. So, ivermectin is a really good thing to have in the house as part of your defense system of what they're doing right now.
Well, very good. This is very, very important information. I want to thank you guys for putting together such a comprehensive presentation. And I'll remind folks, the website is ftwproject.com. I will leave the link below so you guys can check out all those fantastic products and research the science a little further. My guests have been Hope and Tavon, coming to us from Morocco. I wish you guys the very best. Keep in touch and we'll do this again real soon.
Thanks so much, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye, guys. All right, friends, thank you so much for tuning in. A special thank you to our subscribed stars and our members at sgtreport.tv, where we do have that server beyond the reach of Big Brother and the totalitarians. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in every single day for free at sgtreport.com. That's the antidote to corporate propaganda. God bless you and your family. Bye-bye.